Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Views and News, and I'm Faisal Rahman live from our Islamabad studios. Again, in Peshawar, there was another blast, but fortunately, there wasn't many casualties. Only one person died there, whereas 6 sustained injuries. This was targeted on a vehicle carrying judges. Now, this is the second blast in the provincial capital. And when you talk about Lahore, there was another very unfortunate incident which claimed 13 lives and also injured over 100 people. Most of them were from the police. The DIG traffic captain retired Mubin along with the SSP of Lahore. They both were martyred. A day before that, there was this shelling from the Indian side of the border in which 3 Jawans embraced Shahadat. And the same day, if you recall, 3 FC personnel were also killed in a IED blast. Now, this phenomena is gaining strength on almost a daily basis. A couple of important points before we introduce you to our panelists and start the discussion. The Ajit Doval doctrine is in place now. This is a reality. This is exactly what they mean by offensive defense. They're trying to destabilize Pakistan, trying to explore and expose all the fault lines. And primarily, we have also learned that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is going to join hands with IS. And when you talk about certain other elements, whether you talk about Shahryar Mahsood, you talk about Khalid Sajna, or you talk about this head of the Mohmand chapter, Khorasan, they have all united hands now. Earlier, they were all fighting amongst each other, but now they will be fighting under one umbrella. And that is going to be the real problem. Obviously, somebody is financing them, somebody is supporting them, someone is giving them the equipment. There is training taking place in Afghanistan. Today, the deputy head of mission of Afghanistan was summoned in the Foreign Office, held a very important meeting with Tasneem Aslam there, the additional secretary, and he was also informed that what exactly is going on in their country. A telephone call was also made by Mr. Ashraf Ghani yesterday. He talked to the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, and obviously we are talking about condolences here. But at the same time, what exactly is going to happen? There are certain concerns. Is Afghanistan going to be the next battleground? Is it going to be something like Syria? And what sort of a fallout factor it is going to have on Pakistan? We do understand that the Indians are investing a lot in Afghanistan. Not one thing they should make very clear, not to make Afghanistan a stronger country. Primarily the idea that my enemy's enemy is my friend. And that is the reason they're there, using that soil to destabilize Pakistan. Whether you talk about Balochistan, you talk about Quetta in particular, or you talk about Karachi, you talk about Southern Punjab. The Chief of Army Staff has very, very categorically, when he went to Lahore, has said that now the combing operation has started. We've also learned that more than 150 people, or the suspects, let's put it this way, were picked up by the law enforcement agency. A GIT has also been made to determine the reasons of the blast in Lahore. The SSP has been made the head of it. ISI as well as the CIA and also other intelligence agencies will be a part of the GIT to come up with a conclusion and on ASAP basis. This has started finally. Though we were able to flush out all the miscreants, all those notorious characters from the Pakistani side, we flushed them into Afghanistan. But now the sanctuaries are there, they're getting training there, they're dealing in dollars, they have the money, they have the equipment. But the most unfortunate part is that we all thought that the Taliban might end up countering the IS factor. But now when you see that the equation could be different, we all know who is supporting IS, who created IS, and eventually if they get together, the western border is going to remain very, very hostile for the Pakistani armed forces. They are scattered almost all over the country. And when you talk about the eastern border, unprovoked firing from the Indian side, that's a ritual now. What exactly do they mean? One more thing, that Donald Trump has said that we'll use India to tackle Pakistan. Word was used, tackle Pakistan. You normally tackle when you're playing football or you're playing hockey or any other game. You tackle, a defender tackles the forward player. But the point is, when he says he's going to tackle Pakistan using India, what exactly is that supposed to mean? There are multiple questions. Let me introduce you to our panelist. In our studio, on my right is Colonel Retired Shfaqat Saeed Saab, known defense analyst, sir. Thank you very much, Shfaqat Saab. We have with us Bashir Wali Mohmand Saab, again, needs to introduction, former head of the IB. Sir, thank you very much. And we have with us Abdul Basit Saab, a known political analyst. Thank you very much, Basit. Khalsa, first of all, new wave of terrorism in Pakistan. Fine, we were fearing, but this was supposed to happen. Finally, it has started. Your take, sir?
Now they are going to change their mechanics because the way they were proceeding till 2013-14, they have been blunted and disabled in that mode. Now they are changing their modus operandi, and now they are switching over to going into activities like the way they have conducted over the last 3 days, like going to public places, attacking places of worship.
Primarily the soft targets.
Yes, soft targets. They can't contest anymore. And secondly, Muzi, whatever diplomacy or whatever he's doing, whether it is he's addressing a public rally or he's going abroad, he is harping on one tune, and he wants to get Pakistan declared by world as an epicenter of terrorism. India herself has not declared Pakistan a terrorist state. India herself has not slapped any sort of sanctions on Pakistan. India herself has not been able to pass any bill condemning Pakistan in the parliament. But India wants America, West, East, all the world to declare Pakistan a terrorist country and slap sanctions. What they don't dare or can't do themselves, they want the world to do it for them. And now coming to Ajit Doval, they have been able to create a lot of apprehensions in Middle East, especially Gulf countries. That coming up of Gwadar is going to hurt their complete economic interest, and Gwadar would be a nightmare for them. Iran has realized that what is Gwadar, and Iran has very intelligently rubbished Indian point of view, and Iran
They
is
have very categorically
yes.
said that this is going to complement Chabahar. They won't be in competition.
Yes. And secondly, exactly like that, I think United Arab Emirates and the rest of the Gulf states would not face any sort of reduction in their economic activity by coming up of Gwadar. Rather, it would multiply and snowball their economy's growth. And this these Arabs need to understand this. And the thing which was absolutely out of blue was the participation of military contingent from UAE in Indian Republic Day parade, knowing that what India...
Crown Prince was there.
The Crown Prince was there, and what India is doing in Kashmir. Pakistan has always been championing the Muslim cause. And this is Kashmir is not Pakistan's problem only. It is humanity, it is the complete global problem. It is a humanity problem. It is a Muslim problem. And I think that this has been, I don't know what UAE wanted to sound or what they wanted to home. They should have been cognizant of the excesses that India is doing there. Ajit Doval, he is basically a police officer, and he has risen from the ranks, and he has not been able to display that acumen or that intellect which is required of a person who manages a security agency of a country that big like India and South Asia, right? Mm-hmm. Now he goes by that petty, cruel things like choosing target like a school, like a university, or like a worship place, a church, or Gurdwara, or like the marketplace. Now this speaks of the head. And let me tell you, it is not a hidden secret that Ajit Doval has contact with ISIS. This has been reported by the Western media.
The intelligence agencies, you have also served in intelligence agency. Mohmand Saab has been head of one and has also served in ISI. We all know when this very unfortunate incident took place on the 16th of December 2 years ago in Peshawar. Those murderers, those killers, those terrorists, they were in constant touch with somebody, and that somebody was none other than Ajit Doval, sir. So
and
that tells the story.
And one more thing, the most he has pushed and thrown a lot of money around in Pakistan. He has a lot of stooges in
now that is
all categories.
That is $1 million question.
Now you see this blast takes place, and yet people don't know what has happened and what is the casualty and what is the nature of this explosion. It was not clear even that it was a bomb blast, and that very moment, the stooges in media start saying what the final take place, PSL final would take place.
Because of that
now
is
I
related-
tell you, now this is the extent of planning. This is the extent of synchronization of this operation that India is doing in Pakistan. And rest assured, we are all geared up. Our agencies, our armed forces, our intelligence agencies, and they will be able to tackle any menace.
Sir, we
by
have
Indians.
gone through so much. It's a very resilient nation, and we exactly know what to do. Now, Colonel Saab, couple of points. Obviously, a blast in Lahore, claiming 13 precious lives. Every life is a precious life. 6 Jawans, 2 officers, and senior most officers of the police, sir, and very, very capable officers. And rest of them were civilians. 108 got injured. The idea was, and thank God there was this DSNG of Aaj television on one side, otherwise people standing on the other side could have been the casualties, and the death toll could have been much, much, much higher. My point is a couple of points. I mean, what the Indians would achieve. A, PSL, it's a very important factor. You can't rule that out. To malign Pakistan, they do not leave a single forum where they do not malign Pakistan. Whether it is an economic forum, historical forum, is it about geography, it's about the environment, they make sure that the word Pakistan, whenever it comes, they should malign it. And this is one of their primary agenda. Number 2, sir, again giving threat to schools, hospitals, talking about the soft targets, markets, killing civilians. And you know, this is like a threat which is going to be in the minds of the people when you go out. Obviously, people will be afraid once more to send their kids to school. Just by beefing up the security of a city, instead of having 2 policemen, you have 4 and have 2 army personnel along with them as well. Is it going to serve the purpose? Or this time, we should go with all the guns blazing, sir, whether it's India or it's US or it's Afghanistan. Fix them for once and all. When I say fix, I'm not saying that start nuking them. What I'm saying is that, you know, one should be very, very categorical, straightforward. Sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If in one line I answer this question, I totally agree what you have said. Once for all, we should settle, we should try to at least settle this issue, which again, as my friend has said, we have the power, we have the strength, we have the all that. But the unfortunate part of the whole story is that we are not sincere. And by we, when I say, you can take, I think we are likely to, again, this silly thing like national, what is UK?
Action plan.
Action plan, which we have discussed, I think, more than 100 times here. There were 20, this thing, major points.
20 points, yes.
Okay. Out of which only 1, which was given to the army, and army has taken care of that to whatever extent. I will not go into that detail because the entire world knows. And what we have done, you saw the American, the congressmen, the senators, they were here, they were taken, they have seen now. And it is now talk of the world, on the international world forum, these things are being discussed. We can do that. But unfortunately, look at on the other side are this policy of appeasement. We are still sticking to this bloody, we want to have business with India, we want to have all sort of, we know, look, the Indians, as you have said, as you know, I would again totally 100% endorse what you have said and what my friend has said. They are not operating now, primarily, except of course the Kashmir or this cross-border firing and all this. They have chosen this ground which quite suits them, and that is Afghanistan. Even there, if you look at the way this pattern, right from 2016, like you have said, the IPS, Balochistan, Karachi, all these it have a direct, link with Indian
Look at the
activities.
confessions made by Kulbhushan Yadav.
No,
very, very
exactly.
straight, that this
But
is
you
what
know
my
what
assignment
have you,
was, this is
you
what
know
I've been
the Bashir or whatever that bastard name is, Yadav, he has, confessional statement, all that. But when your Prime Minister goes to the UN, I mean, somehow, I don't know whether he forgets or whether it was by design or whatever it was, he mentioned everything minus that bastard's name. It's a confirmed case. You should, again we come up, why don't we take this thing to the UN? To hell with that. You have taken the thing to UN, so it is not the UN, because who is there on the UN? The Americans will come and they will bulldoze everything what is in your favor. I've been harping on this point right from this forum, even 2 days back, and so on and so forth. We must put our own house in order. We have to reorganize,
all right,
and we should see all this. We exactly know, either we know or we don't know, but we claim that we know from where these action, these activities are generated.
Obviously,
and
who's the puppet, who's the puppeteer,
and they are from Afghanistan. Where is Fazlullah? Where is all that?
That is what the point is.
So we should now, this is probably high time, we have, if they can come here, probably we have 100 times more ingress in Afghanistan.
Let's come back to you, sir.
Yes.
And I've got some very interesting questions for you as well in the next session. First of all, sir, your take on whatever is happening. Do you think this is going to continue the same way? It's going to get like a regular feature,
well,
the way it used to be?
Well, if you look at the equation currently, as far as terrorism and militancy in Pakistan is concerned, clearly it originates from Afghanistan. Now, what the environment that you got after Army Public School attack in Peshawar, December 2014, it gave you 3 things, very important. One was Zarbe, it was already going on, but it got into its full force post-APS attack, one. The other was National Action Plan. We can discuss about the merits, demerits, implementation, non-implementation, but it was a solid plan which came out with a consensus after the all parties conference. The third thing which post-APS environment gave us was to squeeze the space for the apologists and naysayers who were trying to say that you still can talk to these guys. That space was totally squeezed and there was no space for such people. So you got a paradigm and you operated in that paradigm for say about 2 years and you got results. So you totally threw them out of your territory. You got all the areas under their control back into the writ of the state. All the no-go areas in the urban centers, especially in Karachi, in Balochistan, were taken back. And then now the problem is of the sleeper cells.
Sleeper cells, yes.
You have intelligence-based operations going on, combing operations. This is going on. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is that terrorism in the current age shifts at a very rapid pace. You can't have fixed policies or strategies. You got to periodically review your own responses as per the changing trends of terrorism originating from Afghanistan. Now, seconding what the first 2 panelists have said, the ideological days of terrorism seem to be over. The Islamist zeal, we'll create a caliphate, we will do this or that. Now the proxy factor is quite prominent. So if you look at the trend,
objectives, aims, they're different.
If you look at the trend, in 2016, the maximum number of attacks in Pakistan took place in Balochistan. Around 110 attacks in Balochistan were carried out not by Baloch separatists, but by Islamist militant 3 groups, Jamaatul Ahrar, which is the most active these days,
yes.
TTP, and then Lashkar-e-Jhangvi al-Alami, which joined hands with Islamic State of Khorasan. Now look at how geopolitically the trends are shifting. You have CPAC in Balochistan, you have China coming in Balochistan, and these people shift their agenda from FOTA northwest periphery of Pakistan to the southwest. Not just Balochistan, you have these activities now going on in interiors, in areas like Shikarpur, which were known for Sufi Islam, which were known for, pacifist tradition. Now these sectarian militants are, making their headways into those territories.
Remember there was this blast in a mosque there also.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is,
nobody ever thought that that place could be chosen for that purpose.
So what
exploiting the
exactly.
sectarianism.
So what I'm saying is, to a certain extent, you can externalize the India factor, which is there. It is solidly proven. It is there. So you have to diplomatically and on other channels, you have to counter that. Internally speaking, so if within the span of 4 days, if you have all your provincial capitals hit by militants, and these targets are not randomly chosen targets. If you look at the video that Jamaatul Ahrar came out with, they identified the target. These are the targets we are going to hit, and they are hitting exactly the same targets. So now you have TTP active in Karachi, you have TTP active in Peshawar, you have Jamaatul Ahrar coming in Mohmand, in Quetta, Lahore. So the threat is quite spread out.
Now,
but that's the last point. Just the last point. So what you have done as a result of Zarbe Azbes, you have scaled down the capacity to occupy the area. Now the residual capacity emanating from Afghanistan is to do these attacks, say in a span of 3 days, and create that echo chamber environment in which, attacks. You'll see this wave, once it subsides, for the rest of the 2 or 3 months, you will have a relative lull and stability would still be there. So we must be cognizant of the fact that we don't overplay the threat. If you look at the attack today, 15 kilograms of explosive was used, and how many casualties? 2, I think. One casualty. So it tells you it's quite a crude capability. They are not managing to do those large-scale attacks. So while we should be cognizant that the attacks have taken...
There were 2 cars carrying 120 kgs in a 2001
but they were caught
Corolla.
then.
And then there was another Suzuki pickup that was carrying 80 kgs of explosive in Karachi.
So what
and
is...
the one was supposed to target, I think, Dolman Mall. And then somebody, in fact, mentioned that was fake news. But what I'm saying is this could be true. But
just last thing.
Please.
What I'm saying is, while media is reporting these attacks, they should also highlight the hard and diligent work of the intelligence and security agencies when 120 kilogram was caught.
Obviously, but if, for example, the intelligence agencies or the people working to look after your safety, if they catch one car, that doesn't become a story. But if there is an explosion of even one
exactly
kg,
what
that
I'm
becomes
saying.
a story.
So let's not glorify terrorists.
But what I'm saying is now, sir, looking at the current equation, because whether you call it a conspiracy theory or you may call it the reality, Colonel Saab, couple of important points. A, targeting Lahore, Charing Cross, right in front of the Punjab Assembly, DIG traffic, SSP Lahore, along with that group of other soldiers who were surrounding them and civilians. There was this attack in Lahore on the Sri Lankan cricket team, and after that we haven't seen international cricket in Pakistan. Yes, Zimbabwe or maybe the Windies, they did come. But what I'm saying is that primarily to make sure that, it's a no-go zone. Pakistan is not a safe place. That was the message given to the world. That leads to, again, another statement given by Donald Trump, because now they're working very closely with the Indians. They're defense pact, they're strategic pact, transfer of technology, the use of the bases. Then we are also hearing that they might start assembling F-16s and F-18 Hornets in India, other than the sale. Forget about the sale, but manufacturing. So a lot will be given to the Indians. Now they've become the blue-eyed boys, not only to counter Pakistan, but to keep a check on the Chinese also. New alliances are forming, like Pakistan, China, and Russia. I was surprised to see a board, sir. Somebody sent me a picture of the KKH, and it not only had the English or the Urdu, but the Chinese and the Russian language there as well. Yes. So now things are taking some proper shape, and they also know what's going to happen. Primarily, CPAC is something which they can't digest. Simple as that. Now, before the start of the CPAC, sir, things were not that different either. As you said, that the mode was different, but their targets were the same. But now, they have a certain mindset. If you'll do this, this is going to be the fallout factor. This will become the lead story. This is going to be the topic of 8 o'clock programs in Pakistan. They have a design how media will react to it, how the military is going to react. Today, the Deputy Mission of Afghanistan was summoned in the Foreign Office. Tasneem Aslam had a long chat, briefing obviously. Will that make any difference? Or do you think now, forget about saying Beruni Haath, external hand, start naming the people. Finally, we have started doing that, by the way. Now, one should be crystal clear. If you know your problem, half your problem is solved, sir.
First, let me talk of President Trump. His presidency is rocking. It's rocking very badly. He has problem in Justice Department, and they are not knowing how to tackle the judiciary, and then his team is breaking up, and then the Russian connection, pre-presidency Russian connection, Trump's team's Russian connection is embarrassing him, and now he's waking up to the responsibility of presidency, and it is taming him. His aggression and his gestures and his body language, it is now toned down to a good extent. He has felt the weight of presidency. Like now he said, he has told...
It's not the Trump Corporation, it's the United States of America.
United States of America.
There's a difference.
And United States of America is not a third world country. It has got very strong institutions, and he does not have a gun in the hand and he can go on a killing spree in 1700 Texas. It's not like that. Now he's realizing his responsibilities, like the way he talked of one China, the way he talked of Israeli settlements, and now he has to come to the official saying. Now, to back the Indian diaspora's vote in election was a different thing, and playing for India in international politics is different thing. Where does India serve American purpose? India does not have that geography. India does not have that geopolitical importance or those credentials which America could benefit in this region, right? Pakistan has been throughout with China. It will remain with China. We have been helping USA in CENTO. We helped USA in Afghan war, Russian invasion. We helped America, and now in this coalition war, we help America. And if America wants to teach us a lesson,
what did we gain out of that, sir?
What? It served our purpose. Afghan war, we were the main target of USSR, warm waters, right?
Now we want to build up a
road. Our X.
Now we are doing the same.
We are doing the same thing, but in different scenario. Now the people who want to have access through Pakistan to hot water are not hegemonic. They do not want to destroy Pakistan or impose their system on us. They just want access. We want to give them access. If that was the case, then we would have done the same then. But that was not the case. They came with tanks. They came with gunships. They came with their Scud missiles, right? So it was not that we could establish CPEC then, right? So President Trump, whatever he is saying, he is just trying to keep that rhythm of campaign alive so that India is not disappointed, the Indian diaspora does not join anti-president campaign. The only thing is, he is an American president and American interest is not served by India. So simple, so short.
Why not? Don't you think there is
America
big country to keep a check on the Chinese? There's a lot of trade potential, obviously, sir.
China owns American Federal Reserve.
That's
what
true.
check on Chinese? China has check on
that's
United
true.
States.
That's true, sir. China has been giving money to the American government to buy their products. $750 billion in 1 year.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, yes, there are dependencies. There are issues. In the future, maybe in the next 5 years, things would change. The greenback might not have that kind of a power which it holds now. Petrodollar could be petro-euro.
I want to finish that
You never
point.
know.
I want to finish that point. That is, now the world realizes that there is no militancy in Islam. What face you see of militancy are nothing but mercenaries which are financed by not Muslims, not Muslim countries, not Muslim organizations, not Muslims, Muslim people, simple Muslims. They are not financed by them. They are being financed by from outside, non-Muslims. Right? ISIS is not product in any way of Islamic world. In any way, in any aspect.
But the way
similarly
they have sort of, I would say, when you talk about Islamic State, the word Islamic
name is
State,
that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But for a layman or for the most non-Muslims
They
living
have done that.
in the West, they believe that, anybody with a beard.
No, they're realizing.
I mean, you're a man with a beard, but I know you personally. You're not a terrorist. You understand?
I thought you were saying you're
Maybe.
not a Muslim.
What I'm saying is,
I'm a Muslim.
Maybe.
people have changed their names. I mean, this is
No, but I do terrorize
deception,
people.
which is
My looks,
reality.
they
But
do
he gives
terrorize
that
people.
look, at
Right?
least.
Some people for my cap and beard and my parents, they do take
And
me
on top,
for
you're a
one.
Pashtun.
Yes, moreover, I am Pashtun.
On
Ethnic.
top of that.
On top of that. So everybody now going to realize that Muslims as individuals and as country or organizational aspect, they don't have any link to militancy, whatever is happening in Islamic world. Who is behind TPP? India. Who is
Now,
behind
this
ISIS?
Curls up, this is the time when people like Maulana Fazlur Rahman, people like Maulana Samiul Haq, people whoever are associated with the Islamic political or the political parties which work under the banner of Islam, they should be very vocal.
Faisal.
They should come on TV and
Yes.
at least tell the world that
Faisal,
what this is supposed to mean.
I want to
And will they do that?
I
No,
want
sir,
to,
they will
I
not.
want to ask you one thing. You and the people like you who are interested in the welfare of Pakistan, I would say that everything, the green flag is an Islamic flag, the road is Islamic Republic of Pakistan road. Why do we brand few people, we make them legitimate representative of Islam by Islamic political party? What Islamic political party? When they were in power or when they had share in power, what did they do for
Sir,
Islam?
when you see kitab ko vote dein, vote for the book, what is that
We
supposed
have
to
not
mean?
given it. In my village, we did not vote for the book.
But this
Please
narrative
let the
tells.
people understand that thing. Every political party in Pakistan
Sir, when
is
you
an
have
Islamic
made
party,
certain
right?
characters the custodians of the religion, then we should
No,
not blame them.
nobody
We
is
should blame
custodian of
ourselves.
the religion.
No.
We have
Nobody is custodian. Every Pakistani is custodian of his faith.
Yeah.
Every Pakistani is custodian of the ideology of Pakistan. Nobody is champion or takedar of
I
that.
think, sir,
No.
this is the time, Colonel Saab, that the national narrative should be very clear.
Absolutely. You're
And
right.
the
Call
whole
spade-
nation, whether somebody is living in Timbuktu or in the remote-most areas of Balochistan or is a Karachiite or somebody from
They are
Islamabad,
Pakistanis.
they should make sure of one thing, sir. A, we are Pakistanis. We are not
Yes.
Sindhis or Balochis or Pashtuns or whatever. Yeah, regional aspect does matter, but at the end of the day, we are Pakistanis. And secondly, sir, there should be a national narrative. We should know what the problem is. I keep telling my servants at home that do not waste water because you have no idea what you're doing. In the future, there's not going to be any water. And the kind of enemy which we have in the form of India, they are stopping our water. They're creating all sorts of problems. What my point is, sir, we need to understand the dynamics and the magnitude of the problem and the kind of mindset the neighbor has and what they're up to.
Faisal, we
Quick
must
comments, sir, then I'll come to you, Mohmand sir.
Okay.
You can finish, sir.
I want to say that we must, for example, in rain you need an umbrella. Exactly like this, whatever we need to stop this happening, whatever is now has been started, we must do that, whatever.
All right. Well, sir.
Okay. I think we have just branded our friend also, because of his obvious appearance. I totally endorse what he says. We don't have that thing now. But the people that you mentioned, for example, whether it is Fazl Rahman or anybody for that matter, who's sponsoring them? It's your system, your political system. I'm sorry, even 2 days back, the gentleman sitting in your place, so when it would say the political, so he would, was feeling uncomfortable. It's your government. You have made a man, okay, he may be I don't know whether he is or he is not, alim or he knows something or not. You are chairman of Kashmir,
The Kashmir Committee, yes.
the biggest problem, or rather we say Sharag Pakistan ki, and whatever words we probably have, we use those words. He's the Kashmir Committee chairman. The Kashmir Committee chairman should probably, I would say, he should have one office in UN, because he should be able to tell the people.
He says that he's been assigned 2 tasks. One is to raise the issue of Kashmir at the international level or in international forums, and secondly, to give sifarishat was the word he used, suggestions to the government.
Look,
and that's, he says, well, I do
is he capable of outside
Well, sir, his
Pakistan?
brother was also
Not
made
only Pakistan.
The tourism minister of Pakistan, so Maulana Taur Rahman was once the tourism
no,
minister.
but is he capable? No. The answer is no. And will he sit in the UN? You know, it's. I was very happy to know that our deputy chairman Senate, another clown from his side, some Hadri Chab or whatever, he was refused visa by the American. Yes, this is their country. They don't want to love. Okay. He was going in a sort of a this thing. There was another gentleman that at least I know is General Salahuddin Tirmizi with him.
I know.
Imagine Salahuddin Tirmizi and Hydari going on the same this thing. They will be discussing Pakistan, whatever policies I said. He will not even probably understand a single word of the American when they talk. We don't understand you. It's a problem always. But anyhow, so unfortunately, the system is topsy-turvy everywhere. Everywhere we have made it that way. I totally endorse what you have said. We should, and again, my friend, as he said, that this terrorism or all this in the 21st century, we have to move along those people the way they move. It's not that whatever we have written, whatever policies
you have to play according to the new rules.
You have to.
Once upon a time in hockey, there was obstruction.
Exactly.
Offside was a foul.
Yes.
It's no more a foul, sir.
Okay.
So you need to play according to the new set of rules.
Today,
I agree with you.
like you say that this Afghan,
Jabri High Mission.
he was there. No, imagine she is the foreign secretary. I would agree with you. But I'm afraid she doesn't know the ABC of Afghanistan. That is the unfortunate part. The Soviet, I'm talking of 1983 Soviet war, when they, the invasion of 79, the KGB boss, who used to sit in Jalalabad, just across Peshawar, you can call it in other way. I was on this side. He had spent 28 years in Jalalabad, could speak better Pashto than me, and in 28 years, I leave it to your imagination, how much he would be knowing that. No, our system runs, I don't know.
On ad hoc basis, on day-to-day basis.
It is day-to-day basis. You have seen in the past couple of days, besides what has happened in Lahore, in Karachi, Balochistan, Peshawar, and all that, you have seen there have been physical attack on the outer post in Mohmand, Bajor. The people just come from Afghanistan. For God's sake, what is this? And I would probably through this program, I would definitely like to request my new, the chief also, that he is fortunately or unfortunately, fortunately that he is commanding probably the most solid army of this world, I would call it. But he should try to settle himself as quickly as possible.
All right.
This is a time
I
factor.
agree with you. I agree with you. Now, sir, another important point. If you want to add some more, please go ahead, then I'll put the question.
Okay, just a couple of things here. One is to the question of who's a good Muslim and who's not a good Muslim should be left to an individual. Making...
So do we have that kind of a breathing space in Pakistan? Let's be honest.
The
problem with us is that we
well,
do
we
not
should
know
have
what
that.
the problem is.
We should have that.
We've been hiding our head in the sand.
So one section, so India becomes the kickback, and then the other section, Maulana Fadlur Rahman or anybody else becomes the kickback. At the end of the day, the bottom line is, whether we like it or not, whether militancy and terrorism has any connections with Islam or not, with Muslims or not, extremism, not using the word terrorism, is a problem within the body politique of the Muslim world. And we got to deal with that. And we have seen that happening in our own society. I can go on quoting examples of what has happened in our own society and how from being a moderate Muslim country, we have gone to the other extreme.
Look at the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah. So
Post Ziaul Haq.
I totally agree with you. So let's just not disown that, and let's just not broaden the debate to the entire Muslim world. What the UAE Crown Prince was doing on the Indian Republic Day, we should learn a lesson or two from that. When the Modi was visiting Saudi Arabia, they gave him, I think,
highest civil
award.
So we should learn a lesson or two from that also. Our priorities have been set by our friends and our enemies, rather than our priorities determining who should have been our friends and who should have been our enemies. We have been playing the emotional game for quite a while. I think we should stop doing that. So extremism remains a problem within the body politic of the Muslim world, generally Pakistan in particular, and we need to tackle that head on. Nobody can, disowning that will not help at all. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that if you look at the current equation, you are dealing with fourth generation jihadists now. Yes. You look at the first wave, it was the Afghan wave. You look at the second wave, it was the 90s, which saw the emergence of Al-Qaeda, the Afghan Taliban, Lashkar-e-Taiba, etc. Third wave was post 9/11 pro-Al-Qaeda affiliates around the world. There are so many of them, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, etc. Yeah. And now you have a fourth wave. This fourth wave of jihadists is very smart. Most of the people are university educated, unlike being madrasa educated. They are career oriented and they have chosen jihadism. They have chosen jihadism as their career, and they are the proxies of these different countries who are playing the geopolitics in the region. So you got to understand that and then tailor your own responses as per the way things are shifting. One last important point that I wanted to mention, as a counter-terrorist, you got to be always 2 steps ahead of the terrorist. And you can only do that if you are imaginatively thinking what they are going to do next. So if you saw 3-4 attacks in Pakistan a couple of days ago, an attack in Peshawar was waiting to happen. It should not have happened. No matter how strong your military is, how valiant your intelligence agencies and civilian law enforcement agencies are,
be so vigilant,
you
can't stop a suicidal
the
bomber.
bottom line is it still remains a security failure. And that is an internal problem. So we need to now discuss what are the loopholes here, how we plug those loopholes, what are the new trends emerging. Keeping those trends in mind, we need to revise our counter-terrorism strategies at the diplomatic level. I totally agree. How do you tackle India? See, our India policy has totally become blaming India. It has become India bashing. Beyond that, we need to think, imaginatively, how can we make a difference? Because at the end of the day, Afghanistan is our neighbor, so we need to build bridges with Afghanistan. Issuing a warning or two is good, but how do you reconcile with them? Because you have to live with Afghanistan.
Their minds have been poisoned. Their minds have been polluted by the Indians out there, sir. So it's a reality.
It's a reality, but how do you counter that reality? We need to crack that, and we need to get an answer to that.
That's what I'm saying. You need to have a proper national narrative.
And
that should be on television almost every day, like advertisement of PSL for that matter.
And here is the thing.
That should be inculcated in your mind. Now, because I'm getting short of time, sir, a couple of more questions. Because that needs a complete program, sir, that's what we need to do it. But so one thing which was in my mind, which I earlier also mentioned in the start of the show. Pakistan is a vulnerable country. That's why we've been exploited. We need to put our own house in order. I totally agree with you. But sir, let's look at it from another perspective. If India is doing this to Pakistan, 4th generation or the 5th generation warfare, they won't bring in their tanks. Their planes won't, because we need to understand one thing, we are a state of war. Because, we are having a good time, we go home, watch a movie.
No doubt.
We believe that war is something when the Indian planes would attack Lahore. Or you would see Mirage 2000s of India in Islamabad and our F-16s hunting them down. Oh, wow, there is a war. The point is, the dynamics, as earlier mentioned by a friend, they have changed. So we need to understand that we have a certain deterrent, we can do that, we can manage. And for the worst case scenario, so then, you fire 5, we'll fire 50. Let's see. You're a bigger country, you deserve more. Don't you think, sir, this is the time that if they have launched proxy wars on Pakistan, we should also exploit starting from Nagaland, Bihar, Tamil, Khalistan, Kashmir, and we should go after them now, sir. It's a war. And everything is fair in love and war,
And
sir.
this is the
No, I totally agree with you. As I said, I agreed with you, even your initial statement. I agree with this one also. We may be having few, these movements like in Balochistan, maybe in KPK, maybe in Punjab, maybe in Sindh, whatever you call it. But if you sum up, total them, probably they are not more than about 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10. There are 49 movements, out of which 34 confirm in India. This Khalistan, we should go, and this is all nonsense, rubbish. I've been myself the operator, I've been myself the handler for over 30 years. So I know, I'm not just talking.
You should be assigned a task soon.
Okay, yes.
You might be getting job.
Yeah.
That is what we are. It's high time now. If we should go, and if somebody said that we'll be able, this Peshawar we would have done this was not possible, I'm sorry. You can't stop these single incidents are there, as my friend has said earlier.
You have to pay a price, sir.
You have to pay a price, but it's high time. Now you have to hit them from the place from where they are emanating. Khalistan issue. It's absolutely, it was ripe. It was always ripe. I'm sorry, in my this thing, I may, there may be something which slipped out of my this thing. But let me tell you, when Khalistan movement, 9 Indian division, they were on the ground. They could not move. This is not the one that I'm referring to, the one which was in Kashmir. From desert to that area, 9 division, it's not a joke, which you can do. Believe me, you can do.
You engage them at their level.
Okay. In Afghanistan, you can do the same. And these post attacks from Afghanistan, you should go for him. And
we should go for
as my friend has probably, I'm Afghan myself. I've dealt with them for years. We must not teach them a lesson. Every day this is a nonsense. 1,000 seats in such and such university. To hell with them. They are in the playing.
Sir,
in the
they have
of
never
India.
accepted you as a sovereign state. Simple.
Absolutely.
So if they don't,
Absolutely.
sir, quick comment, sir. Totally out of time. Please, Kal Saab.
Whatever we must respond in the same coins that
Yeah.
India is doing, we should do little more. Like we must stop all links like their movies, import of vegetables and
Everything.
food and grain.
You will not die.
We must stop it from India. India would come to us. Let me tell you, we are their biggest market. We must prevent everything. We should not like Indians that we are talking and saying and stabbing in the back. No, it should be very clear that we are switching over to this, and before this, we are not talking to you. We are not doing this. We are having no contact with you. We must be over the board, clear cut, in open, and we must be focused and purposeful.
Last 30 seconds, sir.
Okay, for me, first neutralize the threat. The people who are hitting you, first take care of them and then think of, attacking India. Boycott India, this is good, but look at the gap between you and India. They're a big economy. It doesn't hurt them, but it hurts you. You're doing good with China economically. This is good for you. And I think sentimentally, rhetorically, saying big things is one thing. Practically, giving results is another. And we haven't shown good results last couple of days. So let's fix that first, and then come to thinking of hitting somebody here or hitting somebody there. We need to fix our own house first, and then think of India.
Just the last point. I totally disagree with my friend.
I also disagree.
And totally. If he thinks with India, it may be a big or the biggest or whatever it is, we will not die. The American, they were, adjusting on us.
All right, sir.
We managed. There is something which is known as a pride of a nation. What they do to you, we have to return that to them.
As they say, sir, I'll just conclude.
Do you see?
One thing Mr. Ajit Doval should understand,
Yeah.
and I'll again quote Rocky Marciano Balboa. What a beautiful saying. He said, "It is not the size of a dog in a fight. It is the size of the fight in a dog." And we have fought enough. though we are a small country, but
They
we
do
have
not
got.
know our size of fight.
I think that is the
Show
way.
them.
But Colonel sir, thank you very much. Mohmand sir, was a
Welcome.
pleasure.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Basit.
Thanks,
That's
sir.
all we have for this hour. I'll see you tomorrow at 8. Till then, you take good care of yourself. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you.